Hello YouTube and preppers, this is the Comms Prepper, and this is a video I wasn't planning on making today. I just got back from making a video with Chameleon Antenna's P-loop antenna and reinstalled the Midland MXT 400 40-watt GMRS mobile radio back in the truck after modifying it with that DB9 plug in preparation for my GMRS repeater project. And I can't hit the two repeaters I've normally been able to hit with that mobile, and I'm starting to wonder if I did not damage that mobile when I did that modification. So in this video I'm actually going to do some basic troubleshooting to see if the mobile's okay, because the repeaters could be down. So I brought out my watt meter, my vector signal generator, and my attenuator, and this gives me an opportunity to help demonstrate some basic mobile radio troubleshooting techniques if you have a mobile radio that you suspect is having a problem. First thing I'm going to do is hook up the watt meter in line with the antenna and see what my power out is, make sure I'm putting out the power I'm supposed to be putting out of the radio, and check the antenna and the antenna cabling between the radio and the antenna to make sure that's all working correctly. If the transmit's good, then I'm going to use the vector signal generator here with the attenuator, and I'm going to check the receiver sensitivity on this radio. On the off chance I bent something or broke something in the radio and punctured the eardrum on this radio and made it deaf where it can't hear those other repeaters. So that's the plan. First test, we're going to check power out, reflected power, to make sure the cabling's good between the radio and the antenna on the roof. Let me get that set up, show you what it looks like, and run that test. Alright, we're ready for our first test. We have a coax cable coming out of the rear of the radio that comes up into the MFJ 883 watt meter into the antenna port, and then the cable that goes up to the antenna connected to the antenna port, and we're going to go ahead and transmit into this and see if we're getting good power out and what our reflected power is. And we're getting almost 36-37 watts and very little reflected power. So we are putting out good power, and the antenna seems to be good and the cabling seems to be good. So my initial indication here is that the transmit side of this radio is working well. Now there is an off chance that the repeater is actually having a problem, but I just want to make sure that the radio itself is performing as it's supposed to be. So here I'm seeing I've got good power out, good cable going up to the antenna, and the antenna is doing what it's supposed to do. So the next test is to check the receiver, and we'll set up the vector signal generator and see what the receiver sensitivity is. Alright guys, I've ran both my tests on this radio, the transmit side and the receiver side, and I'm happy to report that I did not mess up the radio. It passes both tests, so my inability to hit that repeater must lie on the repeater side. What I have set up here is the receiver test. I have a cable that comes out of the back of the radio into an attenuator that's set to 90 dBs of attenuation. That attenuator is connected to the Signal Hound vector signal generator. Now I'm using this attenuator because the VSG only goes down to -40 dBms, and you have to go much lower with your RF power to test the receiver sensitivity of typical two-way mobile radio equipment. I want to get this down to -22 dBm, so what I'm doing is setting the signal generator to -32 and then adding another 90, and that gets me down to the -22 dBm level, or 0.17 microvolts, which is right around where you should start being able to tell what the signal is when you're generating. So right now we're putting out a 1000 hertz tone into the vector signal generator, which is feeding into the radio, and I'll go over and adjust the volume, and you should hear that 1000 hertz tone. And we have it. So there is some scratch in there, and that's typical because that's a pretty low signal. So we're going to go ahead and increase that a little bit and clean that up. I want to get it to around 0.25 microvolts. That's where you kind of want to start setting your squelch, and the signal should be clean and sound good. So let me pause the camera here, increase the power on the signal generator, and make sure the receive sensitivity is good. I'll be right back. Okay, there's our tone at -119 dBms or 0.25 microvolts. That's a nice clean signal there, coming out of the vector signal generator, running through the attenuator. So the receive sensitivity is good on this radio, the transmit power is good, and I'm very happy that I didn't damage this radio when I had it on the bench. So as always, thank you for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. This has been the Comms Prepper doing a quick mobile radio test of the transmit side and the receive side. Thanks for watching, guys. One thing I forgot to mention in the video is with the vector signal generator, if you transmit into this unit, accidentally hit the push to talk with your radio, you will fry this vector signal generator. This is not like a communication service monitor where you can put 1, 2, 25 or 100 watts in there. If you put anything I think above 20 dB, you'll blow the front end, and that's why you see the microphone sitting there on my chair, just to make sure there's no chance of me accidentally hitting that push to talk button. So if you're going to use a vector signal generator to test receiver sensitivity, make sure you've got your equipment to the point where nobody can accidentally get that unit to transmit, because with a 40-watt radio, if somebody hit that push to talk button, this vector signal generator would become trash, and I'd have to send it off to Signal Hound and get it repaired, assuming they could. I don't even know what's inside on those boards, but you definitely wouldn't want to hit that with 40 watts or even more power. I mean, some radios like an HF radio have 100 watts. So just an important safety tip: if you're going to use a signal generator or a vector signal generator to check receiver sensitivity, do what you can, like removing the microphone, to make sure you don't push to talk and don't transmit. Thanks for watching, guys.